"Grandma, get out of here now." My grandson's voice was a desperate whisper in my ear, his hand gripping my arm like a vice as he pulled me toward the exit of that fancy restaurant. His eyes were wild with fear, the kind that chills you to your core. I was stunned. The evening had seemed so perfect, with laughter, clinking glasses, and talk of family and future. But Ethan, my sweet, honest Ethan, had never looked at me like that before, not in all his 22 years. "Please trust me," he begged, his voice cracking. "Something's horribly wrong." And in that moment, my world tilted. I followed him out into the cool Seattle night, leaving behind the warmth of the party, the expensive champagne still bubbling in my veins. What he told me in that parking lot shattered everything I thought I knew about my own daughter. Can you imagine? Your own flesh and blood plotting against you in the shadows? But let me take you back to how it all began, because this story isn't just about betrayal. It's about the darkness that can hide in the hearts of those you love most. Before we dive deeper into the story, please hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and leave a comment below. It really helps the channel grow. Every word you're about to hear is crafted using research-backed vocal techniques, slow pacing, warm tone, and gentle pauses, designed to melt away stress and help you relax completely. Now, close your eyes, breathe in slowly, and let yourself step into the world of the story. Hello friends, I'm Ellie Harper, though most folks just call me Ellie. At 72, I've seen my share of storms, but nothing prepared me for this one. I've built Harper Estates from the ground up, starting with a rundown condo in Seattle back in the 70s, scraping by on nothing but grit and a dream. Now it's a portfolio worth $10 million, spanning rentals across King County, apartments in bustling downtown, cozy townhomes in the suburbs. It's my legacy, earned through sleepless nights, tough negotiations, and more leaky roofs than I can count. But success like that, it breeds envy even in your own family. And that's where this nightmare started. It was a crisp Tuesday afternoon in my Bellevue home, the kind of day where the sun filters through the evergreens and makes everything feel right with the world. I was in my living room, sipping chamomile tea and flipping through a real estate journal, when the front door burst open like a thunderclap. No knock, no hello, just my daughter Lisa, storming in with her heels clicking like gunfire on my hardwood floors. "Mom, we need to talk, right now." Her voice was sharp, laced with that entitlement I'd come to dread. Lisa's always been my firecracker, beautiful, ambitious, but oh, so impulsive. At 48, she still carried herself like the prom queen she once was, with her designer handbag slung over her shoulder and her hair perfectly styled. Behind her shuffled David, her husband of 25 years, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. David was the smooth talker, the one with the big ideas that never quite panned out. "Good afternoon, darling," I said calmly, setting down my tea. "Care for a cup? It's fresh." But Lisa wasn't in the mood for pleasantries. She dropped her purse on the coffee table with a thud that rattled my antique vase. "This isn't social hour, Mom. David's got an incredible opportunity. A green energy startup that's going to revolutionize solar tech. We need your help to invest." I sighed inwardly. How many times had we danced this dance? I rose slowly, my joints reminding me of my age, and walked to my home office. The filing cabinet slid open with a familiar creak, and I pulled out the thick folder labeled David's Ventures 2015-2025. It was heavier than ever. Spreading the papers across the dining table, I laid it all out like evidence in a courtroom. "Revolutionary, you say? Like the eco-tourism company that promised eco-lodges in the Cascades? That one cost me $50,000 and it folded in 6 months when the permits fell through." David's face turned beet red, but he said nothing, Lisa jumped in. "Mum, that was bad luck. The market shifted." I flipped to the next set of statements. "Or the solar panel installation business? 40,000 gone when your supplier turned out to be a scam artist from overseas." The memories flooded back, the late night calls from David, begging for more funds, Lisa's tears over the phone. I'd bailed them out every time, thinking that's what mothers do, but not anymore. And let's not forget the wind farm project in Eastern Washington. 60,000 vanished into thin air when your partner skipped town with the grants. I closed the folder with a snap. That's $150,000, Lisa. Not invested. Gone. Poof, like smoke. Lisa's eyes flashed with anger, her composure cracking like thin ice. "You're always dwelling on the failures, Mom. What about the successes?" "David's a visionary. He just needs the right backing." I met her gaze steadily. "I'm still waiting for one of those successes, dear, and vision without execution is just a daydream." David finally spoke up, his voice oily smooth. "Eleanor, this one's different. It's got real investors lined up, patents pending, but the window's closing fast. We need 200 grand by Friday." I almost laughed. How convenient, just like all the other limited time offers that left me holding the bag. The room grew thick with tension. Outside, I could hear the distant hum of traffic on I-405, a reminder that life went on beyond these walls. Lisa leaned forward, her voice dropping to a venomous whisper. "You're being selfish, Mum, sitting on all this wealth while your own family scrapes by. What good is Harper Estates if it doesn't help the people you love?" Her words stung, but I held my ground. "This wealth is the result of 45 years of 16-hour days, evicting deadbeat tenants and fixing plumbing at midnight. I earned it the hard way, Lisa, and I won't throw it away on another pipe dream." David grabbed her arm. "Come on, hun, let's go." But Lisa wasn't done. She stood, her face twisted in rage. "Fine, when this takes off and we're rolling in it, don't come crawling back. And good luck managing all those properties when you're too frail to climb stairs anymore." The threat hung in the air like a storm cloud. They stormed out, slamming the door so hard it shook the pictures on the wall. Family photos from happier times, back when my late husband Tom was alive, and Lisa was just a girl with big dreams. I stood there for a moment, heart pounding, watching through the lace curtains as they argued by their Tesla in the driveway. Lisa's arms flailed wildly. David shook his head. Neighbors glanced over while walking their dogs, but I turned away. "Can you believe it? Your own child threatening you like that?" I poured fresh tea and settled back into my chair, but the peace was shattered. Deep down, I knew this wasn't over. Lisa had always been resentful of my success, especially after Tom died, and I threw myself into the business to cope. She'd married David young, full of promises, but their life had been one financial mess after another. And now this. The next morning dawned bright and clear, but my world was anything but. I stepped out to grab the newspaper and my stomach dropped. My beautiful garden, my sanctuary with its rose bushes and stone statues from trips to Europe, was destroyed. Statues smashed to bits, petals trampled into the dirt, and across my garage door in ugly red spray paint, greedy. It hit me like a punch to the gut. This wasn't kids pulling a prank. This was personal, vicious. Tears welled up as I surveyed the damage. Years of tending those flowers, now ruined. Mrs. Larson, my neighbor of 20 years, called over from her porch, coffee in hand. "Ellie, oh my goodness, what happened?" Her face was pale with shock. "Vandals, I suppose," I replied, voice steady though my hands shook. "I heard noises around 3 a.m. Thought it was coyotes in the trash again. But there was a car idling out front, a fancy one with that low hum like an electric engine." David's Tesla. It fit perfectly. The timeline clicked. Our fight yesterday. This attack in the dead of night. I called the Seattle PD non-emergency line right away. "Ma'am, we'll send an officer," the dispatcher said kindly. While waiting, I paced the yard, anger bubbling up. How dare they? My home, my safe haven after losing Tom to cancer 10 years ago. It was all I had left, besides the business and Ethan. The officer arrived, a young man with a notepad taking photos and notes. "Any recent disputes? Family issues?" I hesitated. Accusing Lisa and David outright could explode everything, but the pieces fit too neatly. "A disagreement with my daughter and son-in-law yesterday about money." He nodded knowingly. "We'll file the report, increase patrols. You should get cameras." By afternoon, I'd called a security company. High-tech cameras installed that very day, motion sensors, night vision, the works. As the technicians worked, my phone buzzed. A text from Lisa. "Hope you're okay, Mum. Thinking of you." Innocent as pie, no mention of the vandalism. It chilled me. Was she checking if I'd noticed or gloating? I didn't reply. Later she called, "Mum, I heard from Mrs. Peterson down the street that there was some trouble in the neighborhood. You all right?" Mrs. Peterson couldn't see my garden from her house. Someone had told her, or Lisa already knew. "I'm fine," I said coolly. "Just some damage." "That's awful," she cooed. "You really should think about moving to a safer spot. Maybe a condo in Kirkland near us. We could keep an eye on you, make sure you're protected." Protected? The word twisted like a knife. Move closer to them, become dependent. Easier to pressure. "I'm happy here, Lisa. This is my home." We hung up, but suspicion gnawed at me. I started documenting everything, texts, calls, the police report. This felt like more than a spat. It was calculated. 3 days passed in uneasy quiet. I threw myself into work, inspecting properties, meeting tenants. Harper Estates kept me grounded, rents collected, repairs scheduled. But I stayed alert, cameras recording every shadow. Then, Friday morning, my phone rang. Lisa again. Her voice sugar-sweet. "Mom, I owe you a big apology. David and I talked. We were way out of line the other day. We were stressed, but that's no excuse." Apologies from Lisa were rare as hen's teeth. She always justified, never admitted fault. "That's kind of you," I said warily. "We want to make it up." David's birthday is tomorrow. A small family dinner at Waterfront Pavilion. Nothing fancy, just us. And Ethan specifically asked if Grandma could come. He misses you. Ethan, my grandson, 22 and sharp as a tack. Studying finance at the University of Washington, he'd always been my ally. Honest where his parents schemed, eager to learn about real estate over summer breaks. "What time?" I asked, heart softening. 7 and no gifts, Mum, just your company." I hung up, mind racing. The timing was suspicious, right after the vandalism, my new cameras. But Ethan, how could I say no? Saturday evening I dressed carefully, a simple black dress, comfortable flats, small purse with just my phone and keys, no checkbook, no papers. I took an Uber to Waterfront Pavilion, the Puget Sound glittering under the lights. Through the windows, I saw Lisa and David at a large table, surrounded by more people than just family. My guard went up. Ethan spotted me first, rising with a genuine smile. "Grandma Ellie!" He hugged me tight, his cologne familiar and comforting. "I'm so glad you came." "Wouldn't miss it, sweetheart. How's school? Crushing those finance classes?" Lisa swooped in, air-kissing my cheeks. "Mum, you look fabulous. Come meet everyone." The table was set for 12, not small at all. David's business partners shook my hand, eyes gleaming. Ellie Harper, the legend, built an empire from scratch. How did they know so much? Champagne flowed like water, my glass refilling magically. Conversations turned to retirement planning, asset transfers. Your old school approach, paying cash, no debt, it's inspiring in this leveraged world, one woman said. I glanced at Ethan. He was tense, picking at his food, avoiding the talk. As the meal progressed, a fog settled over me. I'd only sipped the champagne, but my thoughts blurred. Laughter echoed strangely. Ethan leaned close. "Grandma, can we step outside? I need to talk." His urgency cut through the haze. Lisa appeared instantly. "Ethan, what's wrong? Dessert's coming." But Ethan's face was pale. "Now, Grandma, please." David hovered, smiling too wide. "Son, let her relax." But I saw the fear in Ethan's eyes, the same boy who'd never lied to me. "I think fresh air sounds good," I said, standing unsteadily. Lisa blocked my path. "Just a few more minutes, Mum. There's someone David wants you to meet, important for the family." Ethan's hand trembled on my arm. That decided it. I pushed past, heart racing. Outside, the cool air hit like a slap. Ethan pulled me into the shadows. "Grandma, they're drugging you. I overheard everything." My blood ran cold. What? How? The twist hit hard. Betrayal deeper than I imagined. Friends, can you fathom it? Your own child slipping something into your drink? But that's just the beginning. What Ethan revealed next tore my heart apart and set me on a path of vengeance. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss chapter 2, where the secrets unravel. What would you do in my shoes? Share in the comments below if you've faced family betrayal. Like if this story hits home, and share with someone who needs to hear it. Stay tuned, the darkness is just starting to unfold. Chapter 2. Oh God, no, please not this. My head spun as Ethan's words hit me like a freight train in that dark parking lot. "They spiked your drink." "Grandma, Mum and Dad, they're trying to steal everything from you." Tears stung my eyes, the world blurring under the sodium lights of the waterfront pavilion lot. My own daughter Lisa poisoning me? For what? My life's work, Harper Estates? The betrayal cut deeper than any knife, ripping open old wounds from years of her resentment, her secrets. I clutched Ethan's arm, my voice a broken whisper. How could she? But as the fog in my mind thickened, I knew this was just the tip of the iceberg, a twisted plot that would unravel my family forever. Can you even fathom it? Your child turning monster in the night. Hold on, friends, because what came next exposed horrors I never saw coming. Welcome back to chapter 2 of my story, dear listeners. If you're just joining, I'm Ellie Harper, and in chapter 1, I shared how a simple family argument over money exploded into vandalism and suspicion. Now, as that champagne's haze closed in, the real nightmare began. Let's dive right in because trust me, you won't want to miss a beat. There I was, stumbling out of the restaurant with Ethan, my legs feeling like jelly from whatever they'd slipped into my glass. The cool Seattle breeze off the Sound slapped my face, but it couldn't clear the growing fog in my head. I'd only taken a few sips, nursing that bubbly like I always do at these things, but everything felt off, like the world was tilting on its axis. Ethan pulled me deeper into the shadows between parked cars, his face pale as a ghost under the street lamps. "Grandma, listen to me," he whispered, glancing back at the glowing windows where Lisa and David were probably wondering where we'd gone. "We need to get you out of here, now." My heart pounded. "Ethan, what's going on? Why the rush?" He hesitated, his eyes darting, then it all spilled out like a dam breaking. He'd overheard them, Lisa and David, plotting in hushed tones back at their Kirkland home. It started right after our big blow-up on Tuesday. Ethan had come home early from class at UW, sneaking in through the garage to avoid the tension. But there they were in the kitchen, voices low and urgent. "Plan C," David had said. "If she won't invest willingly, we'll make her." Lisa laughed, a cold, calculating sound that Ethan said chilled him to the bone. They talked about a sedative, something to make me agreeable, pliable enough to sign whatever they put in front of me. Can you imagine eavesdropping on your own parents like that? Ethan, my sweet boy who's always been more like his late grandfather Tom, honest, steady, said he froze in the hallway, phone in hand, recording snippets. But he didn't believe they'd go through with it until tonight. At the restaurant, when I turned to chat with one of David's shady partners, Ethan saw it happen. David distracted the table with a toast, and Lisa, my own flesh and blood, slipped a fine white powder into my champagne flute. It dissolved instantly, bubbling up like nothing was wrong. "Lorazepam," Ethan said, his voice cracking. "Mom got it from her friend Carla, the pharmacist at the clinic. It's for anxiety, but in that dose, it'd make you sign your life away without a second thought." I leaned against a cold SUV, my knees buckling. Lorazepam? The name rang a bell from those TV crime shows I watch late at night when insomnia hits. Strong stuff impairs judgment, makes you foggy and compliant. And upstairs, Ethan pointed to the restaurant's second floor, where warm lights flickered. They'd booked a private suite, complete with notaries, hired guns ready to witness me amending my trusts, transferring control of Harper Estates right into David's grubby hands. $10 million in properties, my blood, sweat, and tears gone in a drugged haze. "They plan to parade you up there after dessert," Ethan said, tears welling. "Act like it was all your idea, with witnesses to swear you seemed fine." The first wave of emotion crashed over me then, a high tide of rage and heartbreak that left me gasping. How could Lisa do this? My girl, the one I'd rocked through colic, paid for college, bailed out of jam after jam. But as the drug kicked in harder, memories flooded, her resentment building over years. Ever since Tom died and I poured everything into the business, she'd accused me of choosing properties over family, but deep down I knew her marriage to David was rotting from the inside. Whispers from friends, David's late nights, mysterious trips. Was there more to this, an affair fueling their desperation? I pushed the thought down, focusing on Ethan. "You saved me," I whispered, hugging him tight, but his shoulders shook. "I should have warned you sooner. What if they find out I told?" We hailed a cab right there in the lot, the driver eyeing us curiously as Ethan bundled me in. "Swedish Medical Center, emergency room, fast," I told him, my words slurring slightly now. Ethan stayed behind, promising to cover, but his eyes screamed fear. As the cab pulled away, I watched him trudge back inside, shoulders slumped, walking into the lion's den. My grandson, sacrificing his family ties for me. The ride blurred, city lights streaking like tears. I fumbled for my phone and dialed 911, voice trembling. "I've been drugged. At Waterfront Pavilion. My daughter. She did it." The dispatcher was calm, professional. "Stay with me, ma'am. Officers en route to you and the scene." At Swedish, the ER lights were harsh, stabbing through my haze. Nurses whisked me in, drawing blood, asking questions. "How much did you drink? Any allergies?" I recounted everything, the words tumbling out. Ethan texted, "Cops here, told them all, Mum's furious." The test results came back fast. Lorazepam confirmed, levels high enough to fog judgment for hours. "You're lucky you got out when you did," the doctor said gravely. "This could have ended badly." Police arrived, 2 officers, badges gleaming. I gave statements, fingers clumsy on the forms. Ethan called in remotely, his voice steady but scared. detailing the powder, the sweet, the plot. That's when the second emotional peak hit, a gut-wrenching sob escaping as I realized the depth of Lisa's betrayal. Not just money, but risking my health, my autonomy. Flashes of her childhood, pigtails, birthday cakes. Then the teen years, rebellion, eloping with David against my advice. He'd always been slick. But now, forged documents waiting upstairs. The officers raided the restaurant mid-party, finding the notaries with draft powers of attorney, my signature faked. Harper Estates listed as collateral. David was cuffed on the spot, yelling about misunderstandings. Lisa was hauled in for questioning at home, her screams echoing in my mind from Ethan's later texts. Back in my Bellevue house that night, the silence was deafening. Cameras whirred softly, but my heart raced. I couldn't sleep. The drug wearing off left me wired, thoughts churning. By dawn, I knew I needed help. I called Sophia Ramirez, a shark of an attorney specializing in elder financial abuse. We'd met at a real estate seminar years back. Her no-nonsense vibe stuck with me. "Ellie, this is serious," she said over coffee in her downtown office, overlooking the Sound. "Attempted fraud, drugging, possible kidnapping charges if they planned to isolate you." We revoked all powers of attorney immediately. Lisa's medical proxy, gone. Assets frozen, trusts locked down. But I wanted more, truth. Sophia hired a private investigator, Jack Harlan, a grizzled ex-cop with a knack for digging dirt. "Give me a week," he grunted. What he uncovered? Oh, friends, it was a bombshell that shattered me all over again. Lisa hadn't just targeted me. She'd been embezzling from her bank's senior clients for 2 years. $500,000 siphoned from trusting retirees like me. Fake statements, manipulated accounts. And David, he'd forged my signature on loans, totaling $300,000, using Harper Estates as bogus collateral. But the real gut punch, accomplices. Carla, the pharmacist for the lorazepam. Turns out she and David had a fling years back, an affair Lisa knew about but ignored for the greater good. A shady lawyer prepped the docs. A banker buddy laundered the cash. The third emotional crest came as Jack laid it out in my living room, files spread like a crime scene. Tears streamed, not just anger but grief for the family I'd lost. Lisa's marriage? A sham riddled with David's infidelity, their desperation born from gambling debts and failed schemes. A secret abortion in their early days, hidden from me, fueling Lisa's bitterness. Family torn asunder by greed and lies. What would you do, discovering your child's life was a web of deceit? Hold that thought, the revelations were just starting. As the week unfolded, police built the case. David in jail, Lisa on bail, their Kirkland home a pressure cooker. Ethan moved in with me, his classes online, but the guilt ate at him. "Mum says I betrayed the family," he confessed one night over tea. "But Grandma, what they did, it's evil." We cried together, forging a bond stronger than blood. Yet the plot thickened. Jack found emails hinting at more victims, a network deeper than we knew. Lisa's calls turned pleading, then threatening. "You'll regret this, Mum." But I stood firm, piecing together the horror. Friends, can you believe the layers of betrayal? What secrets lurk in your own family? That's where we'll pick up in Chapter 3. The vengeance begins. Hit subscribe and that bell so you don't miss it. What do you think of Lisa's actions? Unforgivable. Comment below. Like if this twists your heart. Share if you've felt this pain. See you next time for the big reveal. Chapter 3. The phone rang at midnight, shattering the fragile silence of my Bellevue home like a scream in the dark. It was Lisa, my daughter, the one who'd poisoned my drink, forged my name and torn our family to shreds. Her voice was a broken sob. Mum, please, it's all falling apart. David's leaving me. He's been cheating for years. My heart stopped. Cheating? With whom? The pharmacist who'd supplied the drugs? Or someone else in their web of lies? Tears burned my eyes as years of buried secrets exploded. The affairs, the hidden debts, the grooming that started long before they targeted me. Can you picture it? Your child's life unraveling into a nightmare of infidelity and crime, dragging you down with it. But as I gripped the receiver, rage mixed with sorrow. I knew this was the final act. The truth would bury them, but would it heal me? Hold tight, friends. This chapter closes the book with twists that still haunt my dreams. Welcome back, dear listeners, to the final chapter of my story. If you've been with me from the start, you know the pain, the drugging at that fateful birthday dinner, the police raid, the investigators' damning revelations. In chapters 2, we left off with Jack Harlan's files exposing Lisa and David's accomplices, their threats echoing in my ears. Now, as the weeks turned into a blur of legal battles and sleepless nights, the full horror unfolded. This is where justice clashed with heartbreak, where family bonds snapped like brittle twigs. Let's walk through it together, one painful step at a time, because in the end, it's not just my tale, it's a mirror to the shadows in all our lives. It started that Sunday morning after the drugging, with Jack Harlan's report landing like a bombshell in my inbox. Ethan and I sat at the kitchen table, steam rising from our coffee mugs. The Puget Sound misty beyond the window. Jack's voice on the speakerphone was gruff, no sugarcoating. Ellie, this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thing. It's a year-long grooming scheme. Started with small loans from you, 10 grand here, 20 there, escalating to emotional blackmail, then threats. Grooming? The word made my skin crawl like I was some vulnerable mark in a con artist's playbook. But the evidence was ironclad. Emails, bank transfers, even recorded voicemails from Lisa, guilting me about family duty while David promised big returns that never came. As Jack detailed it, my hands trembled. It began subtly, right after Tom's death a decade ago. Lisa would call crying about bills, David chiming in with his latest sure thing. I'd wire the money thinking I was helping, but it built, escalating to veiled threats like, what if something happened to your properties? And now this, coercing me into bad investments, mirroring what Lisa had done to her elderly clients at the bank. 15 seniors, trusting souls in their golden years, funneled into sham funds that drained their nest eggs. She's been playing them like fiddles, Jack said. Fake prospectuses, altered statements, $500,000 gone. One victim, a widow named Mrs. Evelyn from Tacoma, had lost her husband's life insurance payout. Can you imagine? Preying on the vulnerable just like they planned for me. That revelation hit the first emotional high, a tidal wave of fury and grief that left me sobbing at the table. Ethan held me, his young face etched with pain. Grandma, they didn't just betray you, they destroyed lives. But buried in the files was something darker, hints of David's infidelity. Jack had dug up texts from Carla, the pharmacist accomplice. Miss our nights, one read. An affair spanning years right under Lisa's nose. Or did she know? Was that why she stayed? Desperation binding them in crime? The family I'd idealized crumbled, Tom's memory tainted, Lisa's childhood innocence a lie. I paced the room, tears streaming. How had I missed the signs? The late business trips, Lisa's forced smiles at holidays. It felt like losing Tom all over again, grief compounded by betrayal. Determined not to let them win, I compiled the evidence myself that afternoon. 25 victims in all. 15 bank clients like Mrs. Evelyn, 10 lenders, David had swindled with my forged signature. I spent hours in my office, printer humming, stuffing certified mail packets with bank records, wire transfers, forged docs, irrefutable proof. No names on the return address. Anonymity was key. "This could blow up," Sophia warned over the phone, "but if you're sure—" I was. By evening, those packets were in the mail, winging their way to homes across King County and beyond. What would happen when they opened them? Would the victims fight back or crumble like I almost had? The fallout started fast, like dominoes toppling. That very evening, my phone lit up with unknown numbers, victims, piecing it together. One call from Mr. Thompson, a retired teacher. "Mrs. Harper, I got this envelope. Shows my advisor, Lisa Hayes, siphoned 40 grand from my IRA. Is this real?" His voice cracked, mirroring my own pain. "Yes," I said softly, "and there's more of us." By nightfall, Lisa's bank had launched an internal probe. Whispers from Sophia's contacts. Clients flooded the lines, demanding audits. Lenders hammered David, faxing demands for immediate repayment of that 300 grand fraud. "Pay up or face suits," one letter read, copied to me anonymously. Lisa's suspension came Monday morning. Ethan got the text from her. "Fired pending investigation. This is your fault." Gaslighting, pure and simple. She tried it on him too, calling late, voice syrupy, then sharp. "Ethan, your grandma's paranoid. She's twisting everything." But Ethan, bless him, stood firm. "Mum, I saw you spike the drink. It's over." He confided more that night, curled on my couch with a blanket. "She's been doing this forever, hiding Dad's affairs, covering debts." The second emotional peak surged then, a mother's anguish for her grandson. Caught in the crossfire, tears flowed as he revealed Lisa's gaslighting. "She said you hated her since Dad died, that you're punishing us." I pulled him close. "You saved our legacy, Ethan. You're the family I choose." He moved in that week, his dorm room abandoned, our bond a lifeline amid the chaos. As the DA expanded charges to racketeering, organized elder exploitation, the accomplices cracked like eggs. Carla, the pharmacist mistress, turned state's evidence first. Lost her license, spilling about the lorazepam and David's pillow talk schemes. The shady lawyer disbarred, his office raided. The banker facing his own fraud rap. David crumbled in jail, blaming Lisa. She pushed me into it, her jealousy over my mistakes. Mistakes, affairs that shattered their marriage, now public fodder. Lisa's world imploded, home searched, assets seized. They sold the Kirkland house at a loss, moving to a dingy Tacoma apartment. David took a warehouse job. Lisa, retail at a mall, menial work for the visionaries who dreamed of my millions. Trials dragged through rainy Seattle months. Lisa's in spring, 6 years for securities fraud. Her courtroom tears theatrical. I was desperate, Your Honor. Family pressures. But the judge saw through it, citing the grooming, the drugs. David's followed, 4 years for forgery. His affairs dragged out in cross-exam. "He cheated with accomplices," the prosecutor thundered. "This was no loving couple, a criminal syndicate." Watching from the gallery, the third emotional crest overwhelmed me. A storm of vindication and sorrow. Justice served, but at what cost? My daughter imprisoned, grandson fatherless. Yet as Lisa glanced back, eyes hollow, I felt a pang. Was there redemption? A hidden regret? Restitution hit hard. 800 grand ordered, forcing asset sales, cars, jewelry, even wedding rings pawned. They emerged broken shadows of themselves. Ethan graduated UW that summer, cap and gown gleaming. "Join me at Harper Estates," I offered, "as apprentice." His eyes lit. I'd be honoured. We started training at my first property, a weathered duplex in Capitol Hill, bought 45 years ago with scraped together savings and Tom's encouragement. This is where it began, I told him, keys jingling, 1 unit, 1 tenant, honest deals. Ethan promised, I'll uphold that, honesty above all. You taught me that, especially through this hell. True family emerged in the ashes, Mrs. Larson bringing casseroles, colleagues offering leads on new properties, not blood ties poisoned by greed, but loyalty earned. Victims thanked me anonymously, cards, calls, you gave us justice. Peace settled, Harper estates thriving under ethical hands, my resilience against family, greed a testament. But wait, Lisa's final note, slipped via Ethan during a prison visit. I'm sorry, Mum. Protect Ethan, he's all that's good. A twist, genuine remorse, or manipulation? It haunts me still. What if she changes, or was it all a facade? Friends, as this story ends, justice brings peace, but scars remain. What do you think? Was my fight worth the family ruin? Comment below, subscribe, and hit the bell for more heart-wrenching tales like this. Like if it touched you, share if you've walked this path. Until next story, remember, sometimes the deepest wounds come from those we love most.